reduce insurance costs, and enhance supply chain resilience. All credit goes to EHS indeed. Going ahead, why EHS and how it has been integrated into ESG? Well, further in the slides, we'll also look at why ESG and EHS are so closely bound together and today are making an impact throughout the world through companies, through their framework, through their formats of sustainability, and why is it talked about so much. So integration with ESG is the strategic connection. It's that strategic bond that now will be revered in all the future generations to come. So investor expectations are the only thing that is related to ESG, not in a way that it has to be put on papers, but now its investor expectations are coming down and trickling down to all the ESG factors and EHS influence around capital allocation and corporate valuations. Corporate reputation is indeed now counted with EHS. A strong EHS practice always enhances brand trust, attracts environmentally and socially conscious customers. Today, when you are looking at a brand, you are not only looking at the prices, the price tag and the products, but you are looking at how socially active that brand is, how much are they contributing to the society sustainably. The regulatory alignment is also looked at nowadays as the evolving face of EHS in 2025 is changing shape, is changing dimension. A global ESG disclosure requirements now particularly look for reducing carbon footprint, enhancing workplace safety, and enhancing the sustainability practices that come with it. Going ahead, we'll have a look at the global EHS trends and what's changing. What is that we have to look out for in 2025? We have to look for stricter regulations, the regulations that will come with greater laws that help us bind, that help us adhere to the framework of EHS globally. So tougher laws on safety emissions and compliance demand proactive action. Now is the time for taking up proactive action on these particular factors that entirely contribute in making workplace safety, emissions control, and environmental compliance as the top priority. Sustainability pressures are intensifying. With ambitious net zero targets and rising expectations around waste reduction, EHS programs are now central to meeting corporate climate goals. Finally, technology is reshaping and how we approach safety. Tools like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and predictive analytics are enabling real-time hazard detection. Smarter decision making and more effective prevention strategies are on top priority. In short, the future of EHS is faster, smarter, and more integrated. And businesses that will adapt will gain a strategic advantage and a strategic edge. Going ahead, we'll have a look at how businesses can adapt to these pressures. How can they change themselves in order to make themselves more stronger? To stay competitive and compliant in the evolving EHS landscape, businesses must shift from reactive to a strategic mindset. They need to have EHS as their top priority. The first step is to assess and align their current framework, the existing framework, and check if it aligns with all the EHS standards and norms that are existing in the industry today. Identify current compliance gaps, evaluate the risk exposure, and uncover all the opportunities to enhance the sustainability performance in future for a longer view. This diagnostic approach provides a clear roadmap, I feel, for improvement. There are so many changes for improvement that the companies can take up in order to make them on the top of the leaderboard chart of EHS and of sustainability. Next, companies should always go digital in leveraging smart EHS technology and real-time monitoring systems. Finally, it is also essential to make EHS a core business priority. By embedding safety, by embedding health and environment responsibility, the overall culture of an organization can drive long term value, earn them the stakeholder trust, and future proof their operations in the rapidly changing environment. So here's what we got an idea of how EHS can be transformed, how businesses can transform. Going ahead, my panelist Krishna Priya will enlighten you more. So stay tuned with us.
Thank you. you, Akita, for that insightful introduction about the EHS and the role of technology and how EHS is changing in the current scenario. So now let's look into the more details about smarter EHS, how the technology and how innovation is changing the environment, health and safety practices in overall. We can see that the landscape of environment, health and safety practices are changing, as well as the technology is also evolving day by day. So these technology can be utilized even in the safety practices, and many companies are adopting, or many industries are also adopted these technologies for the safety, environment, health practices. Today we'll explore more onto the technologies, how these technologies are being used, and what kind of innovations are being made in this EHS environment world. So we can see like technologies like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, big data play a crucial role in the EHS practices because they provide us with the real-time data, insights, and helps in automating the process. That makes it very faster and helps in smarter decision without less safety issues. So now we'll be discussing the role of technology in EHS evolution, how the different technology is helping currently the EHS practices. So first we can see how the technology is shifting the current EHS practices. So we know the currently or the traditional EHS practices are mainly compiled with the safety regulations, and the practice or the EHS measures are adopted mostly after an incident happens. So that kind of a practice is no longer valid or no longer relevant. However, with technologies like artificial intelligence and predictive analytics, we can identify the potential risks that can happen by uh, watching what is happening in the changes in the data that is being collected and provide a predictive risk management. So the most important aspect of the technology is that it can help you to understand what is going to happen in the future with the data that is being collected from the current scenario or from the previous incident data. So that is something that is really going trending and helping the EHS to avoid incidents or accidents in the future. The second one is with the technology we are able to automate most of the things with that help in the risk management. Automating systems is actually most efficient way of tackling many risks and accidents. The technology like robotics and digital twins help to understand about the hazard identification and also help in mitigation strategies. So we'll be detailing again about this, how it is done in our upcoming slides. Also, data-driven insights, as I mentioned, from the current data, we can understand what is being going in the system, and it can be used to understand the future. Or we can predict the future, then that is the most advantage thing, that data-driven decisions can be done. For that, artificial intelligence and technology like Internet of Things are being used nowadays, which again we will be discussing in our upcoming slides. So we'll be moving to the next slide where we'll be discussing each of the tools that is being currently used in the EHS sector by different industries or the companies. So now, first we'll discuss how artificial intelligence and data analytics or predictive analytics is used in the EHS practices. So, in fact, predictive analytics is actually revolutionizing the EHS or the practices that we take. Because we are not waiting for an accident to happen, rather we are taking an initiative before that. Okay, so the advanced artificial intelligence models now are able to calculate or predict the future incidents or the future health of the equipments or the machineries from the current or the past incident data, work behavior of the workers, environmental conditions, and they can focus the risk before they occur. So that is one of the main benefit of using artificial intelligence and predictive analytics. Also, it helps in automated risk assessment. As I mentioned, artificial intelligence evaluates the workplace safety components, hazard levels, and potential violations. So this is possible how means it is consuming the real-time data. It is collecting the real-time data and comparing it with the past history data that we have already provided, and it is predicting any chances of risk, and it is giving us an indication or alarm, okay, that is there is a possibility of risk. And the most advanced stages, okay, we also, these models, predicting models, help to take a controlled decision, okay. For example, if there is a tendency of fire, okay, they can predict the tendency and take the corrective measure before it can happen. Such kind of sophisticated systems are also being implemented. So that is what the third point is telling, that incident prevention. So as I mentioned, from the data, the model can predict what is being going to happen and provide us with the alarms, okay, to both workers as well as the managers, okay, regarding the danger that is going to come. So the workers can run off from the place, or they can take an initiative to stop that incident. So if I want to tell you an example of what has been currently used in the industry, is one of the great example is IBM's Maximo Health and Predict device, or the AI, which is used to predict the equipment failures and workplace risk in an incident. And what it does is, it has the ability to monitor the equipment conditions and predict potential failures, helping organizations to take corrective actions. So it is basically taking the patterns, or it is studying the patterns of the previous incidents, and by learning from that data, the system becomes more better in recognizing early warning signs and improving future safety strategies. So this is how the artificial intelligence and predictive analytics is revolutionizing the EHS practices nowadays, because rather than waiting for an accident to happen, we are taking measures to avoid that accident, which is very, very a boom for the industry. Now we'll see how Internet of Things is playing a role in picking access. So for getting the data, so if you want to apply an artificial intelligence model or to apply a data analytics, we want to collect data. For that, we are using Internet of Things. Internet of Things is actually devices that are connected through internet, or the things, okay, devices such as sensors, which can communicate, okay, through our internet. So these IoT, or the Internet of Things, helps us to collect the data, and using that data we can analyze, or we can monitor what is happening in the system. So continuous monitoring is possible with the help of Internet of devices. So as I mentioned, Internet of Devices or Internet of Things actually are a combination of sensors that are implanted in different parts of the machines, or wherever we want. Okay, that sensors can be like a air quality sensor, or a gas leakage detection sensor, or a temperature sensor, or a humidity sensor. So any sensors we can connect and we can interlink, okay, and that data can be collected on a real-time process, and that can be given to a control station or a control room, okay. So any time if these sensor data values process an optimal value, a alert system is automated, or alert is notified to the workers or the managers. So this kind of instant and real-time monitoring and an alert system, okay, helps actually to prevent most of the issues, because we always set an optimal level before the incident or a accident happen. So before, if any of the toxic values, okay, for example, air quality or the temperature or the heat, anything, if it rises above the optimal level, immediately we are getting notified and control actions can be taken. And as I mentioned, the same data can be also given to the data-driven decision making of you applying using artificial intelligence or data analytics for a predicting mechanism. And one example that I would like to correct here is the Honeywell's Connected Worker platform that actually provides a real-time alert of hazardous gases and noise levels that is used in many of the machinery, the industry applications. So here, what happens is there are sensors that has been installed that can actually monitor the hazardous gases, environment conditions, and worker safety, and all the data is being given to a control system, a distributed control system, and the actions are taken and control measures are taken. Based on these values, control valves or shutdowns happens immediately based on the program that we have provided. Such kind of automations is possible with these devices. Now we'll see the next technology that is revolutionizing or that is going to revolutionize, which is most not deeply done nowadays, but this is one of the technology that is going to revolutionize. So this is about digital twins. Okay, digital twins actually are virtual models, okay, that helps in replicating the real world environment. Okay, suppose we have a machine, okay, every time we cannot go and test that machine, or we cannot experiment how the machine will respond to a particular simulation or situation. So what we can do is we can create a replica of that, virtual replica of that machine, and we can do all the testing in that. Okay, we can see how the safety procedures, okay, how it will react to some heavy loads, okay, or a heavy vibration. Such kind of simulations we can do in that digital twin of that machine, and we can understand and we can study about the nature of its reaction. So that is what a digital twin technology is, which is very popular nowadays and which is being used mainly for the emergency preparedness like testing, fire drills, chemical spill responses. So we can actually make a study of how our system or how our machine or how our process, okay, chemical process will be reacting to any kind of environmental changes or any kind of mechanical pressures, anything like that. We can study about it, okay, and we can take a corrective action based on that study. Okay, so this is actually digital twin actually helps you to understand the system and do many experimentations, okay, on the virtual model rather than going and doing it in the real machine, which is very difficult, which will not be happening all the time when we want. And one example that I would like to discuss here is with the about of the Siemens accelerometer digital twin that helps to simulate the industrial environments. So this is a valuable EHS product that helps in safety testing. Okay, whenever we want to do a testing procedures, we don't have to go to the real machine or the device. We can experiment it in this digital accelerometer, and we can also check what are the possible real world risks when exposed to workers, and we can provide protective measures to that. So that is one example of a digital twin that is being currently used. We'll now go to the next slide where we will be discussing about the most popular technology, which is robotics and drones. So, as everybody is aware, the power of robotics. So, robotics is now in all the fields. Any field you take, whether it is a medical or whether it is an engineering or automation, any field you see, robotics is there. Similarly, uh, in EHS practices, also robotics play a crucial role, especially when we want to have an inspection is in very hazardous area or very dangerous area where human interfere is very difficult. Okay, or like confined spaces, high risk inspection, places like mining or a nuclear reaction is happening. Okay, in such kinds of situations, people are now using robotics and drones to inspect more about the environment conditions, okay, rather than using workers. So, and the another thing is using the application of robotics actually helps the system to be more automated and provides a safe workplace. And it always checks for safety checks. Okay, any uh, issue or any accident or any hazard it faces, it automatically takes a decision or takes as an alert system also. So nowadays we can see there are a lot of robotics being used in many of the confined workspaces where the robots are equipped with high advanced thermal image cameras, gas detection sensors, which can help in monitoring, safety monitoring, and give us correct decisions or the values. And it can also work on the measures. If it sees any issue or safety concern, it also takes a remedial action for it. So that's the application of the robotics in the EHS technology world. Okay. Now I'll be discussing how industries are using smarter EHS solutions, and for that, what is the most important thing. So, as I mentioned, data-driven EHS decision making is the most important aspect, and for that, the first thing that they need is the EHS dashboard, which can track all the real-time data, safety data, and that can be clubbed and monitored and give you a trend of analysis and also help you to give a alert system. And the advanced system can give also can take a control decision. So here I would like to talk about the Intel's EHS management software that actually is a dashboard system that take data from all the sensors that will be provided, and it helps in providing a predictive safety analytics, okay, compiled to the safety regulations and tracking. So it is a centralized dashboard that help the organizations about the informed safety decision. What is the protocols? How many systems are about to shut down? How many systems want? It gives all the details like what is the current health condition of each of the machines or the equipment, which needs how many machines needs repair or maintenance within 2 or 3 months, how many are on shutdown. All those details will be provided through a single dashboard. And as an EHS manager, this data is very useful and helpful to take meaningful decisions. So we can see how it can be done in a step-by-step process, even though these technologies like artificial intelligence, IoT, all are a bit costlier. But if we can have them in a more effective way, how we can utilize them, we can save a lot of time and we can also avoid dangerous situations and make the workplace more safety for our workers to work. So first of all, if you want to integrate such technology in your workplace or in your industries, what you have to identify is, first you have to understand what is this workplace safety gaps. Okay, whether you need actually these technologies, or in these technologies, okay, what is the technology that is being required. So identify the high risk areas where such technologies has to be implemented and which technology is to be implemented. That is something that we have to access. And then we have to invest in smart EHS technologies. Okay, if you understand that there is a read of some sensors to be implemented, and we can, okay, already if we have some sensors connected, already we have some controllers working, then why can't we make it to an internet of things? Okay, so such decisions or investments you have to make, and do a pilot testing in small critical areas, and according to the pilot test results you have to refine your strategies before your full scale deployment. And the most important thing is training your employees on these smart EHS technologies, because I have seen in many plants, industrial plants, they spend so much of money in installing all these SCADA system, DCS system, but nobody is aware of what is happening. Okay, SCADA, they just open the SCADA and monitor, and they see that these things are happening. Whenever an alarm happens, uh, take a they'll give an attention. We're not actually taking that data from the sensors, or okay, they are not using it effectively. So it is important that training should be given to the employees so that they understand the value of these devices or these technologies, and they utilize it effectively. Okay, because without wasting the money or the time. Okay, next we will see once what are the steps to be done once it is installed. We can move to the next slide. So this is another thing that we have to be clear when we are integrating or when we are spending money in these technologies. First is the data security. As we know, cyber security is something very crucial. Data is very important. Everywhere it is, we are hearing issues with the data and data vulnerabilities. So we have to align to the tech industry safety standards. Okay, and proper security measures has to be provided proper, because there are a lot of softwares and the data is stored in the cloud and so on. So we have to always secure the IoT devices against data vulnerabilities, and we have to take measures for that. And also, if possible, we can use this EHS data for the business strategies. That is the last step, but the most important step, because having this data, okay, for data for, like, you know that these are all the safety data, safety procedures, but if we use it effectively for our operational teams or for the HR team, these data can be very helpful for bringing your business strategies and improvising your process of safety measures and meeting your business goals. Now we'll move to the next slide. Okay. Till now we were talking about how technologies can be used in the EHS practices, but since we are in a phase where we are talking about more about the sustainable things, and we are in an allied state where we have to provide practices related to the sustainability. EHS has also aimed or empowered to meet ESG excellence or the sustainable goals. So we have a latest concepts that has been trending about regarding greener EHS. Okay, that is whatever environment, health and safety practices are taken that is to be aligned with the sustainability goals. So all the EHS practices, whatever we do, okay, that has to be aligned with the sustainability goals of like bringing the carbon to zero emissions and net zero commitments. All these things has to be taken care of. And how technology can be utilized for bringing greener EHS is what we are going to discuss next slide. Okay. So for net zero and carbon reduction, we can always, companies are always targeting on achieving sustainability targets by investing more onto the energy efficient processes and renewable energy sources. So that is something what we can see as a part of safeguarding our environment. Most of us are switching to our renewable sources of energy. Even governments are promoting electric vehicles, solar panels for bringing the net zero carbon. So that is one way that wherever possible we'll be more investing on the renewable energy sources, and we'll be utilizing more on the energy efficient systems. And the second way is to make the more effective greener EHS is following the circular economy. That is recycling waste to energy and sustainable materials so that the harmful impact to the environment can be reduced. So wherever possible, we have to invest on how we can convert waste to energy. So that is something which helps to protect the environment. Now, water energy conservation is also a crucial part for most industries because industrial water waste is a major issue nowadays, and energy conservation is also an important aspect. So, recycling of the industrial wastewater and improving energy efficiency can be also done with latest technologies that is being available. And green supply chain. So, companies are reducing emissions, adopting ethical sourcing by green supply chain practices, which helps in improving the sustainability aspects. So these things can be also implemented in the EHS practices to make it a more greener and safer workplace. Okay. Now I'll be just talking about what are the innovations that has been happening in various industry-wise applications. Okay. So the first thing that I would like to consider is the construction, which is very popular for the accidents and contributing more onto the environment, pollutions and so on. So mostly if you can see in the construction sites, okay, now we can see there are advanced wearable helmets that is being adopted in most of the like big companies. For example, one example is the Goodrich, okay, which is a smart helmet which is equipped with sensors and GPS and communication system that monitors workers' environment in real time. So this smart wearable helmet has many sensors that can monitor the environment of a worker and provide alert systems or alert messages. So these sensors can detect gas leakage, high noise levels or falls, immediately send alerts to the wearer and safety teams. So, and also this particular helmet has a audio video communication system also that enables the worker to communicate if the worker is trapped in a higher risk area or if the worker needs any emergency support. So this kind of wearable devices provide a more smarter uh, support to the workers while they are working in a hazardous area. And next is a drone inspections that can be used for structural assessment. Okay, so drone Matrix 300 is a powerful industrial drone that is used for mainly for the structural health monitoring. This device is equipped with the latest technology like high resolution camera, LiDAR system, thermal imaging that allows a detailed inspection of the uh, hard to reach or hazardous areas such as a bridge or tower or rooftop. And this drone inspection kind of thing helps the eliminates the need for workers to climb up or the rooftop or to enter a risky zone, significantly reducing the exposure to the fall hazard or confined spaces. So these drones can capture real-time data that support decision making and prevent maintenance and compliance reporting. So that is one example that I provided that is being utilized in industries, okay, especially in the construction industry as a part of smart safety solution. Next is AI powered digital site monitoring. So it is a smartweed.io is an AI driven safety platform that analyzes the videos and photos that has been captured, okay, and identifies any unbehavior patterns or behavior conditions. So it uses computer vision to automatically flag issues like whether the worker is not properly wearing the PPE, or if there is any improper ladder user or any issues in the machinery. So this system is connected to many videos, okay, cameras, which capture instant real-time videos and provide alertness to the EHS manager. So this helps in understanding if the workers are not following the safety protocols and if there is any safety issues or corrections need to be done. Okay, such kind of information can be brought from these devices. Next is devices that is being used, the technology practices that are utilized in uh, the automation and hazard monitoring, in especially in the manufacturing areas. So in manufacturing sector, mostly the trend that we see is they will be practicing the Kaizen practice, because Kaizen it's a Japanese terminology which just deals with the continuous improvement, and it is a powerful approach to enhance the workplace safety. So it focuses on small incremental changes made regularly by involving all levels of employees. Okay, so this Kaizen EHS practices helps in a regular monitoring of safety checks and regular actions to reduce the workplace accidents. Then, of course, we real-time monitoring is something that is most commonly used in industries with the installation of many IoT sensors. They can check all the levels like pressure, temperature, humidity, noise, any chemical exposure. All those things can be real-time monitored using advanced applications like SCADA and distributed systems. Now, talking about the automation process. So, in the manufacturing industries are quite good examples for providing automations. You can see many number of robotic operating systems are being installed in industries, manufacturing industries, like whether it is a packing thing or a production process. Many robotic assisted practices are followed, especially in hazardous or continuous 24 by 7 work is involved in assembly line operations. So there all we can use robotic assisted replace the things with robotic assisted operations. in order uh, to ensure more safety. We'll move to the next slide to talk about what is happening in the energy sector, how in EHS innovations are taking place in the energy sector or the renewable or grid stability. We can see renewable energy safety measures are taken. So here also both AI-driven grid management systems and one of the example is Siemens where the ensure stable energy supply. And it also here also IoT-based remote monitoring is possible and predictive maintenance also is taken because wherever we can get data, there we can install AI powered predictive analytics methods. Next slide. Okay. Healthcare is another place where more on the EHS practices are, or safer, cleaner environment practices are taking place. Um, Infection control is one application where robots can be used for disinfection and sanitizing hospital area. We have seen such applications during the COVID time also and pandemic time, where we can utilize these UV disinfection robots to sanitize the wherever the infected areas, and also the chemical safety AI-based monitoring of chemical uh, safety or the chemical smartwares also possible. And patient protection, as I mentioned, in the construction industry, we have wearable helmets like that. In case of the healthcare sector also, for a patient protection, wearable helmets are there, wearable watches are there, wearable dresses are there, and also even the bed where the patient is laying takes a number of data and provides alert system and provides messages and control informations to the doctors and nurses. So such kind of practices or the technologies are being used in all these sectors, as well as for most of the safety practices and for the environment health practices. So that's about the technology and innovations that is happening in the EHS world. Now over to Ankita for the more on EHS.
Thank you, Krishna Priya. Thank you for that wonderful insight, and it was quite detailed. So we got a very good idea of what we should look at for in terms of EHS. Now, dear attendees, we'll be looking at safer EHS, enhancing occupational health and safety. Now, as we all know, technology is revolutionizing. It's changing how organizations are looking at EHS. Now, one of the most important and impactful advancements is AI-driven hazard detection. These make use of smart cameras and sensors. AI can now identify unsafe behaviors and potential risks in real time, allowing for an easier and immediate intervention or faster intervention. We are also seeing a rise in the use of wearable technology designed to protect workers on the ground. Now you'll have to look at smart helmets, exoskeletons, biometric devices that help monitor fatigue, heat stress, posture, and more, offering a data-driven insight to prevent injuries before they occur. So now we are safe as we see. Predictive analytics is another game changer. Machine learning algorithms can sift through large volumes of EHS data to forecast risk and refine safety protocols for the future. In addition, IoT connected environments are now enabling a continuous monitoring of air quality, noise level, equipment conditions, and ensuring workplace safety in the both proactive and a precise environment. And finally, automation and tools are transforming hazardous tasks. Now, from drones to autonomous vehicles and robotic systems, these tools are reducing human exposure and cutting on high-risk environments while boosting efficiency. Together, we can see these innovations are setting a new standard for EHS in 2025 and beyond. Now, going ahead, we'll have look at what we should look at in terms of compliances. Now, as we all know, there are stronger regulations coming up. There is adapting to new compliance standards when it comes to EHS. There are stricter global regulations that are put in place where governments have to enforce higher penalties for non-compliance, for keeping up a mandatory real-time monitoring and reporting for safety metrics of employees. ESG and safety compliance integration. Investors now are no longer just interested in environmental performance. They are not looking at that. They are expecting a clear, a transparent disclosure around workplace safety as a part of ESG reporting, and yeah, that is essential. Focusing on mental health and ergonomics, now basically regulations can look at how mandates can be created for mental health policies and making ergonomic workplace assessments. Increased accountability for companies to support employee well-being. And finally, AI and compliance audits are the regulatory bodies will be helping in shaping the intelligence systems to track, to analyze, to flag issues that are coming in real time by minimizing resilience, by minimizing more reliance on manual inspections and increasing the precision of enforcement. So this is all we are supposed to look at when it comes to compliance in terms of EHS. Going ahead, we'll have a look at the key competencies that organizations and individuals working in EHS must possess. As we can see on the screen, we have set as three core competencies that each one of us need to have in order to be on the top leaderboard position if we are looking at EHS in future. So we have the technical competencies that call for health and safety laws, for risk management, for incident management, for culture, and for sustainability. Whereas when we look at behavioral aspects, we have the ability to communicate with others, the ability to communicate with society, with people all taken together. A transparent communication, a personal performance assessment, and stakeholder engagement. But whereas when it comes to core strength in EHS, we must be looking at strategy, we must be looking at planning, and also the leadership and management that will be enabled by way of EHS. So these competencies are going to drive personal and professional growth for both organizations and individuals taken together. Going ahead, we'll have a look at the future of EHS in leadership. As we see, we need to align ourselves with the EHS leadership standard. So we have in place the interactive training and safety sessions that we are supposed to conduct in order to make ourselves safe. We have to conduct a set of scenario-based exercises that will enable employees to simulate real-life situations. Cross-functional teams will help us enhance the collaboration awareness across departments. Joint safety walks and inspections will help encourage shared ownership at workplace conditions. Whereas case studies and group discussions will promote critical thinking, learning from past incidents, and role playing exercises will help staff prepare for emergencies through active participation. Beyond training, organizations are driving and engagement practices through safety goal setting standards. Sessions and structured feedback loops are conducted, allowing teams to make themselves reflect on the progress in areas to grow. Leadership roundtables are conducted for EHS, providing a safe and transparent dialogue between executives and frontline staff. Collaborative policy developments are being made in order to measure and ensure that safety guidelines are both practical and inclusive taken together. To sustain momentum, annual continuous improvement workshops can help review outcomes and celebrate success and set new goals. Together, these strategies are transforming the safety standards, are transforming the EHS practices. And this is a shared mandate. This is a shared mandate towards a mission, towards making EHS a top priority for companies. Today, now, probably we are trying to wrap up in this particular session where we are looking at the last slide for EHS. So do stay with us. So as we can see on the screen, there is no ESG without EHS. Yes, indeed. In the evolving business landscape of EHS, It is the foundation upon which ESG is built, the foundation on which environmental, societal, and governance is built. So, in fact, there is no meaningful EHS without ESG and vice versa. While environmental and social factors are essential, ESG can often capture our attention when it comes to health and safety. But health and safety is also another dimension that drives the social component of ESG. So companies cannot claim to be truly sustainable, cannot say they are socially responsible without prioritizing the well-being of their employees and putting their well-being at stake. So as governance in ESG focuses on transparency, accountability, and ethical practices, strong ESG can provide the governance, a proper practice framework, a proper governance framework needed for ensuring compliance and fostering ethical standards. In a sense, EHS practices are the backbone of a robust ESG strategy. Today's EHS is also ESG, and today's ESG is EHS in itself. So without EHS, there is no sustainable future. Going ahead, I'll transfer this to Krishna Priya.
Thank you, Ankita, for completing the EHS regulations and compliance, everything. So I can see from many of our attendees' questions that they are asking whether do we have a EHS related courses. So that's exactly what I'm going to do next. I'll be discussing what Uni Athena and what are the different courses that we offer you. Okay, so it's all about Uni Athena. The webinar is hosted by Uni Athena. We are a edutech platform which offers online courses in a self-paced and flexible way of learning. Next slide. So we were founded in 2019 and we are part of Westward Ventures, Westward Education Group. And Uni Athena is a sister brand where we are offering online free upskilling courses at an affordable way. We also have academic degree programs and doctorate programs. We almost have 600 plus courses having more than 3 million learners from different countries. And we are partnered with 10 plus different universities as we provide the next slide. So these are our partners and accreditations we are connected with. The Alberta University, GMU, UCAM, CIT, CMI, SQA, EIU, FEDE, Acacia University. These are some of our partner universities of whose courses we provide. We can go to the next slide. So why Uni Athena? As I mentioned, as we are completely online based of learning, we are 100% online, so you can learn at a convenient time in a flexible way. Only thing is there is a constraint for submitting your assignment, because as every university has a time board in submitting their or in completing their program. So this is 100% online learning platform where you can learn at your own place and pace. And we also offer a flexible mode of payment, which no other universities offer you. And this is a self-paced, as I mentioned. You will have flexible course duration. That is, you can learn at any time of your during your course duration, and you can submit the assignments and the quizzes. Okay, based on the course that you have enrolled for, and all the courses are globally accepted and accredited. And you also have a personal tutor assistance, which you will never find in any other learning platform. We offer a personal tutorship and also an fee support assistance whenever you have any queries regarding your learning issues. And the courses are arranged in a modular way. That is, you will be learning the entire course as different modules. We can go to the next slide. And our next special kind of courses is the short courses. And what makes our online short courses stand out is we have already 600 plus online courses. That is an endless learning opportunity at your fingertips. There is these courses are free to learn. Okay, you don't have to pay anything for learning. Of course, for certificates you have to make the payment, and the certificates will be recognized.
ಅಪ್ಪ ಬೇಡಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಡಿ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪ ಅಪ್ಪ
I'm sure Krishnapriya might be having some.
Okay, and we also offer the short.
Okay, going ahead. What makes online short courses stand out? So basically, we'll have a look
Hello?
at what makes them stand out. Yeah, okay.
My voice is
Yeah, we
clear.
had lost you. Yeah, now you are.
Stands out. So we offer 600 plus online courses offering endless learning opportunities at free of cost. That is the highlight there. Or you only have to pay for the certificate. The learning can be done in free. And we offer courses in diverse ranges and diverse domains. You can see that we have almost like 20 plus different diverse areas the courses are. And you can also see the levels of learning. We have 5 levels of learning from very beginner stage to the most advanced stage. And the entire course is designed in a bite-sized learning in a capsule-like model. We can go to the next slide.
ಅಂದ್ರೆ
Okay, so as I mentioned, we have different levels of courses. The first level is a basics, which will require only 4 to 6 hours. So if you just want to understand the core fundamental concepts, the basic courses are for you. And it is perfect for newcomers in the field or anyone who just want to brush up these course basics. Next slide. The next level of course is the essential, which requires 6 to 9 hours, and it delves into a little bit detail onto the essential concepts, principles, and theories when compared to the basics. And it is situated for those who have mastered the basics and want to have a more deep understanding. Next is our mastering level, which is a 1-week program, and it is help you to get a top level expertise and practical skills from industry experts. And this is applicable for those who are aimed at to excel in that particular field. Next slide. And we have diploma, which is like 1 to 2 weeks course. It is for to obtain specialized certification and practical skill in your domain. And it is ideal for those who are looking to elevate their career with specific and employable skills. The next higher level is the executive diploma, which is 2 to 3 weeks, and it helps in an in-depth program for giving you more insights about the practical skills, and it is ideal for professionals who want to accelerate their career without affecting their personal and professional obligations. So now, answering to most of your questions, if you want to learn more about the safety management concepts, we have courses arranged for you. We have a list of courses. If you are interested, you can check out our courses. We have MBA Essentials with Environment, Health and Safety Management, Mastering Hazard and Safety Management, Essential of Safety and Health Management, Essentials of Fire Safety in Buildings, Basics of Fire Safety, Basics of Safety Management, Diploma in Construction Safety, Diploma in Environment, Health and Safety Management. So these are our short courses. We also have other academic programs related to environment, health and safety. You can check out in our portal. So these are some testimonials from our learners who have completed successfully our diploma programs and short courses. This is from another learner who has completed the MBA Essential with Environment, Health and Safety Management. I hope these testimonials give you an encouragement to enroll and check out for our courses. For any admission queries, you can connect with the admissions team, support at Uni Athena, or you can WhatsApp us at 7150561025. I hope you all enjoyed. Now we'll go with some of the Q&A sessions. There was one question regarding from Aditi Saxena regarding what are the simulation tools that is used for developing digital twin technology. So there are various tools that is available for developing digital technology twin, and it will be based on which software that you are using. Some of them are like you can always use MATLAB or you can use ANSYS Twin Builder, ETPA. There are many examples are provided. You can check out. Sulfikar Ali Sheikh has asked whether there is need for physical appearance while using sensor technology. So these with the Internet of Technology, the most inspiring thing or the most advantages that you can control or you can monitor these sensors remotely. So you will be getting, you can get a notification even in your mobile phone. Okay. So these sensors help you to get or use it and control them in a remote condition itself. So there is no need for a physical involvement while using these sensors. So there is one question from Ahmad Hussain who is asking how drones can ensure hazard-free environment in construction site. So Ahmad, if you have noticed, I discussed one of the drone that is currently being used, that is Matrix 300, which is a powerful drone application that can be that is used for structural monitoring of buildings. So various drones are used, and drones are also used to capture the images of the cracks, and that images are given to systems which can, latest image processing software which can utilize that images and predict what is the health of that structure being. So that kind of things are actually being in practice. Another question from Sana is how emerging technologies like AI, IoT, and augmented reality expected to practically transform EHS. So, Sana, if you have seen that in the entire webinar, we were talking about how artificial intelligence or IoT is being used. But we didn't talk about augmented reality. Of course, augmented reality also has a major role, and it is mainly it can be used for training of your workers and employers. Okay, so that is one kind which where this augmented reality can be utilized. So regarding other queries, if you have any, you can put it in the Q&A box or in the chat box. There is a question, which instruments are used in oil and industry? Lot of instruments can be used. starting from different sensors to different control applications. And it will be based on the application in which process you are using. Any electrical engineering field safety tools. There are a lot of electrical engineers require a lot of safety tools, right from their PPE kit. There is a lot of tools that an electrical engineer uses. Any other? Okay, how does digital twin will predict about? What is that? How does digital twin predict proactive planning for operations? Okay, as I mentioned, digital twins are a technology where you can simulate or you can create a virtual uh, model of what your machine or equipment is, and the same system can be utilized, and whatever study purpose, whatever testing purpose you want, that can be done in a digital twin model, rather than going for a hard real time working. And the same data can be also be transferred to real time data for control applications. Okay, we are getting a lot of questions, but because of our time limit, we'll have to wind up.
Thank you everyone. Thank you for joining today. And we hope to conduct few more insightful sessions in the future. We want you to give us suggestions on what you would want to hear from us. And please do reach out to us for your feedback and valuable suggestions. Have a very happy weekend ahead and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
ಅದೇ ಬಂದಿದೆಯಾ